Something I struggle with, probably more than anything else in interior design, is being really confident in my larger purchases. And those are the purchases that mean the most in a space usually, like the area rug, the sectional, the statement light fixture. Those I will lose sleep over because I'm incredibly indecisive. So I came up with a little system, sort of a quiz slash questionnaire type of a thing that will, by the end of it, hopefully really give me a solid idea of if it's a good purchase or not. And I thought I would share it with you guys because some of you have expressed that this is something you also struggle with. And I think I found us a little solution. So let's get into it. Okay, the way this quiz works is the first two are instant eliminators. So if you answer no to this one or the next one, not a good purchase. The rest of them are important to consider, but maybe not the end all be all. And hear me out on this first one, okay? I'm going somewhere. Don't click out of the video. Do I like it? Okay, I know this is obvious, but a lot of the time we aren't actually aware that we're just making a purchase because we feel like it's the right decision or it's the only thing that's going to work in the space, rather than it's something that I genuinely really like. I just did this recently. It was very dumb and I ended up regretting it. Also, we are constantly being influenced. Like, if you have an Instagram, a TikTok, a Pinterest, so many accounts are literally only serve as funnels to get you to their Amazon storefront. And the thing about influencers, the good ones, don't make you feel like you're being influenced. It makes you feel like it's your idea, that you need this rug and you have to run, don't walk type of a thing. The good salespeople don't come off as salesy, and we need to be aware of this when we're scrolling on social media. I did an entire video on this. Go check it out. I think it might actually be more helpful than this one. I don't know, but I think it's a good video. You should definitely watch it. It's going to help you determine whether your style is being largely influenced by what you're seeing on social media or not, and if so, how to sort of change that and come up with something that's a little more authentic to you. A couple of questions to ask yourself to determine if this is something you've been sort of influenced to feel like you need to buy is: one, did you see it on social media? Can you think of the reel or the TikTok or the short that you saw that made you really like this item? Two, did you have to comment shop to get the link? This is kind of an like if you know type of thing where some influencers, I guess in order to track their commissions, I'm not really sure, but they'll make you comment couch or rug or whatever it is, and then they'll DM you the link. I don't know, whatever. Did you have to do that? Because that's like a pretty easy one to be like, oh yeah, I just feel like I need this because this person said I do. The third one is, can you think of one or more people who have this exact item, whether it's an influencer or friends or family? A lot of us can feel really a lot more confident in our decisions when we know somebody else also made that decision. Is that the worst thing in the world? No, probably not. But if you're really determined to make sure that you're building a home that's like authentic to you and it's not something that's gonna feel like an outdated trend in a few months or a couple years, this is definitely something to stay away from. You don't want to only build your home and the items in your home from items that came off of someone's Amazon storefront. That's all I'm trying to say. Again, if this is something that you struggle with, highly recommend this video. I'm linking it again. Go check it out. It's a good one. The second one is, does it fit? And I mean both like physically in the space, like the dimensions, does it fit? And also like, does it fit in your color palette? Does it fit in the vibe that you're trying to create? If I'm shopping online, I will always beeline to the dimensions or like product specifications little tab, and it doesn't matter how pretty it is. It doesn't matter if it's like the perfect color. If it doesn't fit in your space, it's not a good fit. When I'm shopping in person, I always have my little tape measure in my purse, and I make sure that I have kind of a range of the width and the height that the item needs to be in order for it to be a good fit for my space. I'm an incredibly visual person, so it usually isn't enough to know that width, length, height is a good match. I have to see it. And what helps me see it is lining it out with painter's tape. I will mark, if I'm trying to buy a rug, I will mark sort of the perimeter of the rug on my floor with painter's tape. And it's just really helpful for me to like visually see the item's blueprint. So I highly recommend that as well. What else? Does it fit the vibe that you're trying to create? Every piece in your space sort of helps create the story that you're trying to tell, and it's just good to keep in mind that make sure that we're sort of coordinating the vibes of our pieces. On that note, the sort of specifics to consider would be silhouette. Are we choosing a silhouette that makes sense for the space and the other items in the space? Obviously, color palette, that's definitely one to keep in mind and consider. And I think it's the first one that most people kind of can think of. And then material is also an underrated one that I think if you are being really mindful about the materials that you're choosing, that can also be a way to bring the space to life in the way that you're trying to. It can be a very valuable tool to convey the message that you're trying to convey. Was that a coherent sentence? I don't know. Editing Becca here, jumping in the same shirt for the sake of continuity. I don't know. I forgot this part. I forgot to film this part, but it's important. So, under does it fit? It must also fit your habits, lifestyle, routine. If you're buying something that's like kind of high maintenance and requires extra cleaning or a change in your habits and the habits of the other people that live in the space, it's not going to be a good choice because the newness of an item wears off a lot faster than the time it takes to build the new habit. So you're going to revert to your old ways. If you bought a white couch and your entire family is accustomed to eating on the sofa, and your solution to this was, well, we're no longer going to eat on the sofa. That might stick for like 2-ish weeks, and then you're going to go back to your old ways of eating on the sofa. And then the sofa's not going to look nice because you're going to get food on the sofa. And you knew this in the beginning, but you created sort of an unrealistic expectation of you and your family. I guess it's not unrealistic, but it's unlikely that it's actually going to stick. Another example of this is like you fell in love with a glass dining table and you also have kids. But your solution to this is you're going to go from wiping it down once a day to 3 times a day after every single meal, and it's going to stay in pristine condition always because you care about this piece so much that you are willing to keep it really nice. I need to shake you out of that dream because that's not how this works. Unfortunately, we are only human. And maybe it's possible if it's just you, but it's really hard to control the habits of other people. I have done all of these. I have purchased the glass kitchen table. I had a white rug. I have a white couch, and constantly dirty. Every single one of them. And I'm a tidy person, and so is my boyfriend. It's just something to consider. Also, I want to say, I don't think I'm the first person to ever point this out on YouTube. I know I've heard it from someone else, and I have a terrible memory and I can't remember who. So if you know who said this originally, please leave them in the comments below. I would love to give credit where credit is due. But yeah, don't buy high maintenance items with the thought that you are just gonna become a totally different person, because that's not how humans work. That's all. Are you familiar with the return policy of this specific company? Obviously, the whole point of this questionnaire is to make sure that you don't actually have to return it, but it can just be like a little bit of peace of mind when you're actually clicking confirm payment or like proceed to checkout. This just helps. It's like a psychological safety net, basically. And it also is just genuinely important to know. A lot of companies don't pay for the return shipping. So if you have a really bulky item, that's definitely something to consider. Many companies don't make it as easy as like Amazon Prime does. So it's just, do your research, go to their return policy page and read it before you make the purchase that's, I don't know, a couple $1,000. It's important to know. This last little tidbit is less important, and it really applies to smaller items, not so much a couch or like an area rug that's specific to the type of room, but can you style it 3 ways without buying anything else new? So can you already think of 3 areas in your home that this lamp could go in? Or can you think of 3 different ways that you can style this new vase? I don't know. I got this tip from a YouTuber. I forget her name. I'll put it here. I'm so bad with this. I'll put her name here. She was talking about fashion. What she says is to make sure that you can style this shirt that you're wanting to buy with 3 different ways with the stuff that you already have. And that is a good guide to know if it's going to be a good fit for the stuff you already have. So I like this one. It just kind of helps me be like, okay, well, if I can't make it work in the living room, I know it's going to go well in my bedroom. So, one to consider as well. This next little thing is just kind of good to keep in mind. One of my subscribers actually pointed it out, and I thought it was very wise. I'll post the original comment here, but basically the gist is that when it comes to buying something, you get to choose 2 of 3 things usually, unless you find like a really good deal. But the first is price, the second is quality, and the third is time. I added convenience, so time or convenience of acquiring the item. So if you want something high quality, also very quickly, you're likely gonna pay a premium for it. So this is just something that's good to keep in mind and be aware of which of the 3 are most important to you, and also just like know that you're consciously choosing to leave one behind, and that's a personal choice for all of us. Just something to be aware of, and it guides your decisions a little bit better and makes you feel informed, like, yes, okay, I am getting something that's incredibly high quality, it's custom made, but there's an 8-week lead time, and that's just something I'm choosing, and that's okay because it's gonna be worth it to me. So thank you, Babs. So that's it for this video. I hope this was helpful because I know I'm not the only indecisive girly out there. If it was helpful, you can hit the like button. That's like the best way to support me and my channel. If you want to see more stuff like this, you can subscribe. Thank you for watching until the end, and I'll see you hopefully in my next video.